What's going on, everybody? Thank you once again for stopping by our regular weekly training. Today, I kind of just want to do some Q&A. Um, I live a lot on the Facebook groups online, and sometimes they come across. Sometimes people ask some good questions that I think they're worthy of us talking about and reviewing. But first, um, I don't know if any of you have received an email from Kyle lately, but they have a new lead program that we may be interested in. I don't know much about it. All I know is that um, every month I get this email that says I can use co-op money to send out mailers or something like that, right? I use it for more Facebook advertising, but some of you may get it as well. And Kyle says that now we can use that to purchase some of these leads in this new system. So, Kyle, welcome. Thanks for stopping by for a quick second. You don't have to be here all day, but if you can tell us a little bit more about that new lead program, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as Carlos said, we typically on the first of every month will send out an email to anyone who is qualified for our lead co-op program. And if you're not familiar with that program, it's something Premier's done for several years, since well before I was here. But basically, we take a look at monthly production, and it's all based on app count for Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement. And with that, we have kind of these tiers as to what we traditionally had paid towards a 1,000-piece mailer, just to kind of help with marketing money and keep things rolling for everyone on a monthly basis. So what we've done is actually take what we would have been paying towards those mailers, and we're making that as basically a dollar amount that we're applying towards these new digital leads we have access to. So if you're familiar with the old system, it's going to be the exact same amount of money that you're getting out of it. It's just that we're applying it to something that we're hoping is going to be a little bit more successful. Anyone who's used mailers in the past, mailers have been in our industry forever. They're successful. They're kind of tried and true, but at the same time, it's hit or miss. You don't really know what your return's always going to be like on a mailer. You might have a 1,000-piece mailer that comes back with 5 leads, and who knows how great they're going to be. It might be 25 leads, hard telling. But with this, you're actually purchasing on a per lead basis. So we have this new system, and I can send the link out. I know I sent it to everyone this morning that was on our February 1st list. But through this link, and you can find it through our website as well too, you actually have the ability to go on, fill out your information, select the type of leads that you're looking for. It just gives you an option between Medicare and life. Narrow it down by state. I think you can go as far as to even picking which county within that state you're looking at, and then make your purchase. So there is a 20 lead minimum on the Medicare side. I do know that, but I think there's $16 per lead. You have to order 20. After that, you can I think select by counts of 1. So nothing crazy with that, but when you place these orders, there's a spot right there on the order form through that link where you can put in your code, whether you had qualified for that co-op amount. So where you might be purchasing 20 leads at $16 per lead, if you had 10 apps with us in that month, you're going to qualify for getting $230 off that purchase. It's all kind of automated. You don't have to actually, reach out to me like some people had to get it paid back or, used as a reimbursement type. So we're hoping that the system works pretty well. As far as explaining where the leads come from, it's actually one of the first systems we've used where all the leads are based off of just SEO. So those are kind of becoming the more common type of leads that our industry is at least having success from, just because that somebody had to be searching for information, willing to put their information into a website. The outcome is typically much higher in that case. So we're excited to kind of see how it goes. On the Medicare side, we just rolled this out here in the last couple of weeks. So not a ton of feedback yet, but if anyone does move forward and place these, I'd love to hear what the experience is like, just so we can pass it on to other agents, kind of see what's working, what might not be working as well. But yeah, it's just something new to us to be able to roll out to everyone. I can send out links to like direct place to order it through our site. I can also send a link to what the website that the consumer is going to fill out the information looks like, so you guys can have full transparency on what is kind of being put together and used to build these out. So I don't know, it's just something new, kind of exciting, just because that's obviously the way the industry and the world's going is everything's digital and online, and I think we're going to have some success with it.
So a couple of questions for you, Kyle. Tell us
Yeah.
again, how many, so app count is based on Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplements, is that right? Or
Yes, correct.
and,
Yep, those two.
and how many do we have to hit to get a certain amount?
Yeah, so if you have 5 apps in that month, then you qualify for $155 off of the order. If you have 10 apps, you qualify for that $230 amount off the order.
So 5 apps, 150, 155, and 10 apps, 230.
Yep, that's what you get taken off of it. So if we do the math on that and you're looking at ordering 20 leads, that's $320 with no discount. If you take that $230 off of it, you're getting 20 leads for $90 at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is there anything after 10 apps? Like if somebody's killing it, doing 20 apps?
They don't have anything tiered out to that yet. That's something we've approached just because it's I mean, from our standpoint financially, it definitely makes sense to do something. So that's still being looked into a little further. This is just kind of the traditional set number we've had for quite a while. I'll follow up on that though. It's been a while since I've really heard any updates on it. So yeah, that's a good takeaway question.
And this is the website that we go to to order these leads, right? Okay.
Yep. So you'll see on here, right from where you're at, if you know you've got lead co-op, and you should be getting that email. If you're not getting that email on the first or second, just depending on if that falls on a weekend or whatever, reach out to me. Sometimes people will accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, unsubscribe from our emails just because there's so many going out. So if you're not seeing that, but you're just dead set that you had 10 apps last month, let me know. We can make sure your communications are set up properly. But if you have that lead co-op, you want to click on the left side of the screen where it says, yes, I qualified. If you're just ordering these, because you don't have to use co-op, you can go the other route, but not a huge difference. If you want to start in here, I can kind of show you, because it does kind of add information as you go. Let's see here.
This looks like a job.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job of making it straightforward, and I think it'll be pretty easy to use. So from the month credit, you're just going to be basically selecting when you receive that email. So, if you got the one today, it'd be February. And then it has you, select the type you're looking at. The only thing I noticed that is kind of, I wish we had a little bit more option, is I wish you could do multiple states, but it doesn't give you the option to do that quite yet.
Hey, but this is okay too, because I've noticed that we have trouble just getting leads in one specific state. Like if we're going to run Facebook ads, it's easier for us to.
It makes it
leads at a lower cost if we're like all over the state. But if we can get them $16 in the state, that'd be fantastic.
Well, and that's the other part to it too, is, as knowing you guys are people who are very familiar with working over the phone in multiple states, sometimes it's just nice to be able to focus on one and not have to necessarily worry about different appointment fees and whether or not I actually have that in place. So yeah, there's definitely good and bad to it. As you can see right there, when you click on that Medicare leads box up top, because you have to click in there and then select the number you want. It does list out there what you need to put in for your code. So if you were that $155 amount, you're writing Medicare 1. If you had the 10 apps and you're getting $230 off, you just type in Medicare 2. This is something that, don't fully submit it because it'll come back to us. But when you submit this, it comes over to the person who we have in our office that just kind of deals with lead co-op. And if they are able to verify everything, which they shouldn't have a problem, it just goes through, charges your card, and everything gets kind of started from there. If someone came on this site and they didn't have lead co-op for that month, it's going to actually not place the order at all, and they get notified about it. So it is going to kind of protect against that. And you can always reach out to me too if you're just not sure if you'd qualified. But other than that,
and tell me again, where do the leads come in? Like where do they go?
Yep.
Like I ordered.
So
20.
I'm trying to get, and I'm trying to get 100% clarification on that. I know they're going to get sent to you in a shared folder. And my understanding was that the first time you placed a lead like this, the company is actually called Blueprint, and they will send you it's a Google shared folder where those leads get deposited.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. So that part, I'm still trying to get 100% clarification, but.
Okay. So somehow they're going to get, like they're generating the leads, and the leads are being put into a Google sheet or something like that, and we have access to that Google sheet.
Yep. And when you get that information, I've seen kind of the highlights that they give, and they're giving you name, address, date of birth, basically all their contact information, which is kind of nice. With that date of birth, if you were looking at a supplement, you could even start running quotes ahead of time. So yeah, they're giving you plenty of information. And like I said, we're just kind of hoping that where these are leads coming from a site that someone had to, I mean, you basically have to search for something like that unless you see it in an advertisement. But yeah, I think they're going to be pretty successful. We're being told that these leads are filtered multiple times, so that should help too.
Do you know what what site it is, what landing page they're using by chance, or is it?
Yeah, I've got it right here. I'll just
is it that mymedicarepolicy.com?
Yes, that's it. Now, as far as how this is being advertised, because I'm sure we'll be doing that kind of stuff as well, I'm not sure on the details of that. But yeah, pretty basic looking site. It looks clean to me. I feel like seniors won't have a problem, using this. As I get more information on exactly how it's being distributed, so people are seeing it, I can let you guys know too.
Okay, and a couple questions here. From me, are these like turning 65, or are these like just Medicare in general, or it can be anybody that comes to the site?
Medicare in general. Yep.
Okay. So
yep. Medicare in general.
Site, they drop in their information. It's gonna come to whoever is purchasing the lead.
So that's my understanding at this point. I do have an email out to get some of these kind of questions answered too, because that was one of the first things I was wondering: are these 265, or these people, maybe shopping supplement rates? I'll keep you guys posted. It's kind of early on this. I just wanted to make sure I got the information, as much as I had out to you right away.
Good. So Miguel has a question. Are these exclusive leads, or are they shared?
Yeah, they're not shared. Yep. So when they're sent to one person, they are. I can't remember what the time period is, but yeah, they're not shared leads.
Would you? So once they're ours, once we buy them, and let's say we just never touch them, they're not going to be put back into the universe and purchased by somebody else at a lower cost or anything like that.
I think they have a time frame on these sort of things, and it's usually a couple of months. I'll find out on that part too. That was part of the questions I had sent over. But yeah, I know as far as worrying about them getting sold repeatedly to multiple people that are using this system, I would say typically when we say it's a non-shared lead, it's like a 3 to 4 month type turnaround. I'll find out of that though, just to see exactly what the parameters are and everything.
So we can be sure that if we're buying $16 leads, that we're the first ones that are going to touch these leads, nobody else.
Yes, correct.
And then Mike was asking, can we purchase the leads even if we don't qualify for the discount? The answer is yes, right? We can go on to the
correct
and purchase leads without inputting the code, correct?
Correct. Yep. And what you'll actually do is when you were at that original site, I think there's a different spot on the right where you click through it if you hadn't qualified. So yep, definitely still an option.
Understood. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any? What does 12 times filtering mean? What does that mean? Yeah. Alex.
That's a great question. I think what they're doing is filtering that versus. I think it's actually against the systems where they're bringing other leads in. I'm not positive on that part though. Like I said, I still got quite a few questions out on that part, but as soon as I get more details on that, I can get it over to you so you can send it out to everyone too.
Maybe it's just marketing jargon, Alex, because I'm going to start selling leads that I filter 26 times.
I would start at 13. That way you got room to build.
Oh yeah, 13, right? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any questions about this? I wanted to bring Kyle on board to talk about this because, as you know,
I have a question.
Go ahead, Alex.
So I think I missed it. So when someone fills out the lead card from mymedicarepolicy.com, how long from the time that puts in, put your name in John Smith, how long does it take to get from there to me if I bought some leads in that particular area?
Yeah, so my understanding on that is that it's going to kind of depend on what is currently available, because if you're running leads in a state where they haven't had a ton of lead numbers come in, it could take a little bit longer on that. That was part of the big question I had asked them too is, are we sitting on a pool of these that are getting collected? And I've been told that it's going to depend on kind of on what's right there, readily available. But yeah, I know I got a lot of takeaway questions. I feel bad for not having everything, but I'll have more on that pretty
soon. Miguel was asking, what if the lead puts themselves on the do not call list? I think, Miguel, so like a lot of these like legit sites like mymedicarepolicy.com, they have a program in the back that records the screen every time somebody's on there and filling out their information, So if you ever ran into a problem that said, hey, why are you calling me? I'm on the do not call list, and it gets serious. Integrity and Premier have all the records that show this guy went online, filled out the information, and gave us permission to call them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you
Yep. There's disclaimers before basically that page has disclaimers on it when they fill their information, not to protect you against that.
I'm telling you from my friends' experience who've been sued by people that they now have this software. They have to have this software in the background that's recording the screen, showing people going through their filling out their applications, right? So don't worry about that kind of stuff, Miguel. If somebody is on a do not call list and they tell you not to call them, just hang up and throw away the lead or something.
Yep. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this page, Carlos, I think it's like the second to last line on there does, say that the purpose of communication is a solicitation of insurance. So there's a disclaimer on there that, by having that and then having somebody click through, you're safe.
Gotcha. Lucy said, would you please repeat the link for signing up for these leads? Oh, it's what was that link?
So yeah, and it's that one right there, the digital leads one. So we can send that out. You can also find it through the website. You just have to go in through, there's a few different loops to get to it. So I kind of like just using the direct lead.
Sure. I'll send out that link to everybody so that you have it if you want to purchase these leads. Now, it's all about the leads. When you're trying to grow your business, if you want to make some money, you got to spend some money. So if you're spending $500 on leads, how many leads is that? What's the math on that?
That's 31 and a quarter.
Yeah, so 31 leads, right? How many leads do you have to sell to get your money back? One.
One. Yeah.
One sale to get your money back. So if you're not selling at least 20% of them over time, then we need more training on how to talk to people, right? So
I would say
consider
50.
it.
I'd
Consider
say 50%.
it. Consider it if you have some extra money. I know that it changed my life when I started understanding that I have to spend money to make money. So spend some money, have some skin in the game, sell some policies, and even make more money. Put that money back into policies.
And to add to that, not to cut you off, but the way I'm kind of looking at it right now is we're at that time of the year where everyone's coming off of AEP, and hopefully it was successful enough that you're qualifying for that co-op. Now, if you're qualifying for a $230 co-op off of just getting the bare minimum 20 leads on here, that knocks your total cost down to 90. That's $4.50 per lead for 20 leads. So now's the time to do it if you had production, because then you can hopefully just keep everything rolling. And that's kind of the whole point of our lead co-op program, is that hopefully once you qualify once or twice, you can just keep using it over and over, and it'll just kind of keep helping you build that business up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mike asked, can we purchase life leads and use them with another carrier if Premier doesn't have the product they are looking for? So basically, if I buy the leads, can I do whatever I want with them?
Yeah. There's nothing tying it to us on these. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you're trying to use that snowball effect where things keep building, and you purchase them for the life products and the business doesn't come through here, then we're not going to know if you qualify the next month. But other than that, no, there's no stipulations. We do what's best is for or what is best for your clients, I guess.
Okay. And Dave asked, the minimum qualification numbers are based on the volume from the previous month, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we kind of have to do that based on just how long it takes for updates with carriers to come in on production. So that can be hit or miss this time of the year, because there's people who might have sold a policy with a smaller Medicare Advantage company in November, and they might just be rolling in. So if you have discrepancies with your numbers and you think that maybe you qualified for something that wasn't sent out, that's where you can let me know. We can do a little bit more digging.
So what's counted? Like if I sell a policy in January, but it's not effective until April 1st,
It's when it's sold. Yep.
just when
month
it's
of sale. AEP is the tougher time just because there are so many that aren't going to kind of come on our reports until after the fact, if that makes sense.
So it's the month of sale. So we'll get the Premier will get the report that there's a policy in process or it's been approved, yet it's still effective April 1st, but it counts for that month.
Correct. Yep. Ideally, like I said, the only problem we run into is some of the carriers are just so slow with getting the report to us that we don't necessarily see it. But yeah, any of those discrepancies, those can come to me so I can take a look.
If we have a like rapid disenrollment, somebody disenrolls within the first 3 months, does that count against us to take it?
I can tell you we don't have any way of tracking that as far as what we're doing on the lead co-op, so I wouldn't even worry about those.
I understand. Okay.
It's still gonna show up as an enrollment in our system.
And Alex says, I signed up and paid for leads yesterday. How long before I get a lead? So, yeah.
Yep, that one I'm hoping to have some answers on that one soon. I don't think it's too long of a turnaround, but I do know the first time you place an order, they've got to get your account set up on that shareable folder, so there is a little bit longer wait. I think the last I was told, let me look at my email real quick here. Here, I thought I had something, but I thought I was told it takes around a week to get that set up before you start to see anything. I'll find out though.
Okay, so yeah, anybody else have any questions? I think this is a good gig. You know, oftentimes people are asking me, you know, can you help me with the Facebook lead campaign and all that stuff? But if you want to avoid all that mess, you just want to purchase some leads here, you could. Okay.
Yep. Keep it simple.
Anybody have any questions for Kyle?
I just want to say, Kyle, we appreciate you, man. You know, you're a workhorse. You do a lot for us.
No problem at all. That's what we're all here for. So yeah, you always got to let me know if there's something that you guys need. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully this is something that just helps everyone keep growing. I like the simplicity of it. I like being able to just go through here and order things without worrying which lead company you're using all the time. So yeah, like hoping it helps out.
Okay. All right. Well, if nothing else, Kyle, thank you for stopping by for a few minutes, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah. Yep. Well, have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right. So, all right. Let's get back down to business here. Lily, are you there? Lily, you said you had some questions about Plan G that you wanted to talk about.
Yes, I do. Here, let me see. Maybe I could just read it off right now. Okay, so a few questions regarding Medigap plans. So do seniors get to change plans like Medicare Advantage during annual enrollment period?
I'll tee this one off to, let's say, Mo. Are you there, Mo?
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Okay. Did you hear Lily's question?
No, can she repeat it, please? Or you
Definitely.
can?
Yes. Okay, so regarding Medigap plans, do seniors get to change plans like Medicare Advantage plans during enrollment period, annual enrollment period?
Now, forgive me, Mo. I think you're more of a Medicare Advantage guy than a Medicare supplement, if I'm not mistaken. But she's asking, can for Medigap policies, can they?
Yes. I think with the Medicare supplement, there is no open enrollment, or you can at any time of the year, if you see that a plan, if you qualify for a plan, you can always switch between plans. I don't think there is any restrictions.
That's absolutely
but you have to qualify. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. So Lily, when somebody first is eligible for their Part B, Medicare Part B, that's called open enrollment. They can choose any Medicare supplement plan that they want. No medical questions have to be answered. Okay, so they get whatever they want, no medical questions. Okay, anything after 6 months from their Part B effective date is going to be underwritten. So that means that they have to answer medical questions and they have to get approved, right? Because they have to answer medical questions and get approved, that means that they can apply at any time, 365 times a year. If they wanted to switch their Plan G, they can switch their Plan G. However, if somebody is on a Medicare Advantage plan already,
Mhm.
kind of difficult to get on a Medigap policy because you can't, or you're not supposed to, right? So it's like, if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan in July, and now you want a Medicare supplement, a Medigap policy, it's not going to work because you're stuck in a Medicare Advantage policy. You have to have some way to get out of your Medicare Advantage policy, and sometimes people don't, unless you have some sort of qualifying life event, unless you have some sort of special enrollment period. I hope that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I do have another one too. If
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
okay, I'm gonna type it out here too also, because it's kind of long. So let's just say this senior is currently on MAPD, but what you're mentioned about, it's still his open enrollment period for him to switch to Plan G, because right now is open enrollment period as well, so they can drop their Medicare Advantage plan, right?
Correct. So we
But
are in the open enrollment period from January through March, where
yeah,
somebody wanted to drop their Medicare Advantage plan and go back to original Medicare, they could.
okay. Okay, and then right now he's still in his open enrollment window too. So, but he
But
has
he's already in a Medicare Advantage plan.
yes, yes,
Okay. So
yes.
he can. So the first thing you want to do before you cancel somebody's Medicare Advantage policy is what? What do you want to make sure you do before you cancel somebody's Medicare Advantage policy? You want to make sure that their Medigap policy goes through. Last thing you want to do is cancel their Medicare Advantage policy, and then you apply for Medigap, and it doesn't go through, and now you can't get the Medicare Advantage plan back, right?
Okay.
So in this particular case, you want to, because they're in open enrollment, because they just started their Part B, within the last 6 months, get their Medicare supplement approved. Once it's approved, then sign them up for a Part D prescription drug plan because it's open enrollment. That'll cancel out their Medicare Advantage policy, and that will put them back into original Medicare. That make sense?
Yes.
But you said something here. Do you suggest him to switch if he has Medicaid? Question. So if he has Medicaid, let me see. Alex Shu, if somebody has Medicaid, can they get a Medicare supplement?
No.
Okay, thanks for
Depends what level.
answering.
First,
Yeah.
it depends what
I
level.
would say no, yeah.
Okay, so generally the answer is no. And on the applications for every Medigap policy, one of the questions is going to be, do you have Medicaid? And if you have Medicaid, it's going to say that you cannot proceed. We're not going to issue the policy, right? So no, Medicaid acts like the supplement for original Medicare, okay? Now, if you sold them a Medigap policy before they were eligible for Medicaid, then they can keep their Medigap policy. No one's going to take it away from them, right? But you can't sell them a new Medigap policy if they have Medicaid. Now, somebody said it depends on the level. Well, Medicaid has something called a spend down program here in Illinois, which is basically a deductible that has to be met before Medicaid kicks in. So if somebody is on a spend down, technically they don't have Medicaid because they don't have Medicaid until they hit the deductible, until they hit the spend down. They turn in the receipts to the office, and then the office says, okay, we see that you met your deductible. Now we're going to give you Medicaid. So if you come across somebody who's in a spend down, they technically don't have Medicaid. You can sell them a Medigap policy, and then middle of the month, if they meet their spend down deductible, and then they get Medicaid, then that's out of your control, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now they have Medicaid and a Medicare supplement policy together. Make sense?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Was that it? Was the only 2 questions?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay, wait, Lily, do you have more? Because we got
Because I do want to ask about which carriers do you suggest for Plan G?
Okay, that's a good question, right? So let me show you, right? So we're going to our supplement quoting tool. We're going to get in through Medicare Center, but I got a quick link here.
Okay.
So we're searching for Medicare supplements. We're typing in some zip codes. Right? I always type in my zip code. Whatever, doesn't matter. Comes in all different flavors. Plan G is the most popular one. Okay, bam, bam, get a quote. First thing I do on the next screen is, because I'm doing a screen share with the client, I close the details. I close like how long it's been in the market, all that jazz, right? Because I don't really want them to see that, at least for now, unless they ask me a question like that. So I go like this, right? So here are all the options that your client has for a Medicare supplement policy. Okay. What we know is that it doesn't matter if they go with Allstate, with AARP, or Joe's Chicken and Waffles, the benefits are going to be the same. A Plan G is a Plan G is a Plan G, right? So which ones do we recommend? This is my spiel. My spiel is I'm always going to recommend the ones that are popular, that are affordable, that have a lot of people on the books. Because if they're popular and have a lot of people on the books, then imagine if one person got sick in that pool of people, the insurance companies have a much easier time spreading that bill amongst a lot of people than it would a smaller group of people. So what does that mean? That means that over time, we hope, we're not fortune tellers, but we hope that over time, the rates of increase over time tend to be less than the rest. Okay, so we're always going to go with the big brand name companies. We're going to go with the AARPs. We're going to go with the Mutual of Omaha's. We're going to go with the Aetnas. We're going to go with the Cignas. We're going to go with those companies. Those are the ones that I recommend. So if you just want to have a few in your back pocket, I would say AARP, Mutual of Omaha, Aetna are probably sufficient. And let me tell you something. The client is going to do what you tell them to do. Okay. If you recommend Aetna, then they're going to take Aetna, right? If you recommend it and you're confident about it, you're professional, and you explain it why you're recommending it, because it's affordable, it's popular, has a lot of people on the books, then they're going to do whatever you tell them to do. It might be the sixth one on the list, but if you tell them, here, this is the best one I recommend for you at $132.22, they don't care about the rest of the stuff. They trust you. Does that make sense? So don't give them options. Pick one for them and tell them why they need to have that one. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna give them options. They're gonna not know what to choose. They're gonna get confused, and they're not gonna do anything. So be confident, pick one, and go with it. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Hardeep, you had a question?
Yes, I have a question regarding the selling of MedSup to the person having Medicaid and Medicare. So if sometimes people have the extra insurance in the medical also, like they have group insurance, or they're like having federal this employee benefit insurance, even having the Part B. So like this, a person having both dual insurance, they, for the further security, as most of the hospitals don't take Medicaid sometimes, so they can go for this medical supplement.
If they have Medicaid in place, you cannot sell them a Medicare supplement. You cannot, if you know they have Medicaid in place, you can't knowingly sell them a Medicare supplement. It's on every application. And in the AHIP trainings that we take, all the CMS stuff that says, if somebody's on Medicaid, you cannot sell them a Medicare supplement, right? That makes sense?
But I did chat on this Medicare.gov and I asked the same questions. So I got replied that there is no any legal issue, legal binding to sell them.
I'm telling you that I've seen it before. I've seen it somewhere that says you cannot. And then even on the application, when you're filling out the application, they ask you, does this person have Medicaid, right? And you have to answer yes or no. And if you answer yes, something else pops up that says, hey, this policy is not going to be issued. Or if you're doing a paper application, it said move to step number 5 if they answered yes. And step number 5 will say, hey, we're not going to issue this policy. So if you're being honest on the application, it's not going to let you go through.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I also read somewhere there is a 25,000 penalty if we sell them. I'm not getting the source.
I vaguely remember something like that, right? So that's what I'm saying is that it's not, you just can't. You know, I understand that Medicaid is not accepted everywhere and they want something that's accepted everywhere. However, the rules tell me I can't sell you a Medicare supplement. Now, if you want to go to Medicaid and cancel Medicaid on your own because you desperately want a Medicare supplement, then be my guest. Tell me when the Medicaid is canceled and I'll get you into a Medicare supplement. Worst case scenario, we're going Blue Cross Blue Shield because it's guaranteed issued in Illinois, right? In other states, it might be a little tricky, but cancel Medicaid first. Give me proof that you canceled Medicaid, and then I'll go ahead and sell you a Medicare supplement gladly. Make sense?
That's fine. Right. Perfect.
Joanna, you got a question? Okay. I think you're unmuted, but we can't hear you, Joanna. I'm gonna have to connect your. Try again. We hear something like rumbling around, but we don't hear you. You might want to call in with your phone if that's not working. Anybody else? We'll wait for Joanna to come on through if she can connect to the audio.
I got a question, Carlos.
Go ahead, Alex.
I don't do a whole lot of Medicare supplements, you know that. So when you're doing people on a spend down to get to Medicaid, are these people who are fairly like upper middle class? Because I always picture people on Medicaid as lower income. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. The main requirement to qualify for Medicaid is your income. You know, if you have limited income and limited resources, then Medicaid's for you, right? But if you have some pretty good income, then likely you don't qualify for Medicaid unless there's some other rules in your state, you know?
Well, if you want to do a Medicare supplement, you're turning 65 or whatever. The minimum you're going to spend on a plan N is like $80 a month. And if you're on Medicaid, you don't have $80 a month. Plus you got to get a Part D on top of that. That's $100 a month over and above paying a Part D premium.
If they're on Medicaid, then for me, the conversation stops about Medicare supplements.
Okay. All right.
So you don't have to worry about that. If you know they're on Medicaid, that's it. We're doing Medicare Advantage all day.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
As long as the Medicare Advantage plan has all the doctors that they're using that already accept Medicaid. Those have to be true. That the doctors they're already using that accept Medicaid also accept the Medicare Advantage plan. That's super important because they can easily just walk around with the red, white, and blue card and Medicaid all day. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah. So I have another question. The state of Illinois, and I know Carlos, you do a lot of stuff. Are there doctors that they don't want to take Medicaid because Medicaid is slow and paying? Is that true?
I mean, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of like doctors saying I don't want to do Medicaid because their reimbursement rates aren't as much as just say non-Medicaid people. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they take forever to pay. They used to be. They said it's take forever to pay.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. We have people on Medicaid all day, left and right, and they have the same issues as anybody else. You know what I mean? All insurance companies suck, including Medicaid. The bottom line is that if they're responsible to pay, they're going to pay eventually, right? So, thanks for the links, Kelly. I'll save those links and I'll read them. Miguel, how does one look? Give me 1 second. How does one look into qualifying someone for a spend down? Miguel, that's a good question, man. For me, I'm just eyeballing stuff. I mean, I can Google what the income limits are for spend down in Illinois or what the income limits are for Medicaid in California. Like I can Google it and get numbers and then ask my client, hey, how much money are you making a year or a month? And then I have an idea to direct them to go apply for Medicaid, you know? But I'm not a Medicaid expert. I just know how to search those kind of answers. You know, I eyeball it. If I feel like, yes, your income is low enough, then I'm going to direct them to apply to Medicaid. You know, not sure what's going on. I wanted to ask you if we have access. Yes. So Joanna, everybody has access to this CSG quoting tool, the supplemental quoting tool. Okay. And everybody can access it through the Medicare Center. Everybody has. Oh, we can hear you now.
Oh, awesome. I don't know. I think my headphones broke.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Oh, so this is Medicare Center. I didn't see the beginning.
It's not Medicare Center. It's not Medicare Center. It's the CSG quoting tool. However, so remember, there's 4 softwares. There's Medicare Center, what I just logged into. How do I get out of here? Okay. There's Medicare Center. There's Medicare app, which is Connecture. That's the second software. The third software is Medicare Link, which is Sunfire. And then the 4th software is CSG. Okay. So Integrity and Premier, they own Medicare Center and they own CSG. But these other softwares, they're totally separate companies, but we still have access to them. So if you want CSG, if you want the supplements, just click on CSG. Give me 1 second.
Oh, this is Kathy.
Kathy, you're unmuted. So you click on CSG, and it's very important that the next thing you do is hover over this Medicare Center and click on Premier. Because if you don't, you're going to get quotes for Medicare supplements that we don't have access to. And you might put your foot in your mouth. You might say, here, I'm going to sell you this policy when we don't even have access to it, right? So it's the very first thing you got to do, Medicare Center, click on Premier, and then it'll take you to this page.
Oh, okay.
See? Medicare supplement, and then you go from here. Make sense?
Yeah, and that's the same for Medicare Advantage plans?
Medicare Advantage plans, you can run Medicare Advantage plans here also, but I train the people who are directly underneath me or connected to me to shop their plans from Medicare.gov.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so do what you want, but you can get Medicare Advantage quotes, prescription drug quotes, supplement quotes from those 4 programs that we talked about: Medicare Center, Medicare app, Medicare Link, and CSG. I'm really only using CSG to get supplement quotes. I'm using Medicare.gov to get Advantage and prescription drug quotes. And then I'm using Medicare app to enroll people for Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans. But you do what you want to do. It's your business. You know, I just feel like it's more accurate getting stuff from Medicare.gov.
Okay.
Anybody else have some questions? Does anybody have anything they want to talk about?
Carlos, just to confirm, on the Medicare supplement plans, you have to go to the carrier to enroll them in that supplement plan, correct? You can't enroll them through the actual CSG platform, correct?
Okay, so the answer to that is yes and no. There are some carriers that allow you to enroll them right from here, right from Medicare, from CSG, right? So look at. However, I've just been so used to going to the carrier website for Medicare supplements to enroll them there. So I know how to do it for United Healthcare, Mutual of Omaha, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna. I've done so many that I know I just go straight to their website, right? However,
that's my experience as well. That's why I want to confirm today. Thank you.
However, there are some carriers that allow you to enroll straight from here. Let's see. And maybe they took the button off, but there was a button here that used to say like enroll now. Well,
There was actually one, Carlos.
The Tax Act, you file for less and get your
universal e-application platform. You're going to hear me say universal platform a lot in this.
Okay, so they have some little training videos on CSD that show you how to submit Medicare supplement applications. I
Yeah,
wonder.
they do. They do. They had training, and they also had a training, Carlos, regards to if you wanted to add dental.
I
So
understand.
then you could just, yeah.
Okay, so some carriers have give you access in CSD to submit the policy right then and there. I just do it straight from the carrier website. It's just something that I'm used to doing. But yes, the answer to your question, Mike, some carriers do, some carriers don't. If you want to keep it simple, just tell yourself in your head that Medicare supplement plans, I'm going to enroll through the carrier website.
That's exactly what I've been doing. I just wanted to confirm that for everyone and especially on my team. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
If someone is locked out of Social Security, what do they do?
If somebody is locked out of Social Security,
Yeah, they probably screwed with their password, whatever. They called Social Security. They've been no help. They said we can mail something to you. But
well,
have you ever,
that might be the case. Like if you get locked out and you've tried all things left and right to try to get in, they got to make sure that you're you. So they're going to send you something in the mail, like a PIN number or like a password that you're going to have to get in to plug in, so.
is it any help going to the office or no?
I don't know. I mean, in person does help, but as far as like the password that they get that gets mailed to them physically, they're not going to get that at the office. They have to wait for the mail to come on in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some of these questions that came up in the Facebook universe.
Ted's waving his hand.
I want to ask.
Oh, go ahead, Ted. Go ahead. Ted, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. I have a question with a guy on original Social Security, and his wife was paying for his supplemental policy through her work. And then she stopped paying it because it got to be too much for her, and she didn't tell him. And so now he's in the AEP, and he doesn't know what he's going to do because he's got a liability for the 20%. Is there anything that he could do? Is Medicaid based on the household income, or is it just him alone? Or
okay, so this guy had secondary coverage through his wife.
Right.
He lost that secondary coverage. So if he lost that secondary coverage within the last 60 days, that's a special enrollment period. Get him into a Medicare Advantage plan if you want, right? If it's within the last 60 days, okay? Also, if it's within the last 60 days, he can get a Medicare supplement guaranteed issued because he's losing his secondary coverage through no fault of his own. Okay.
Well, I know, but I don't think, he doesn't have any income at all. So if his wife wanted to stop paying,
then Medicare Advantage plan all day.
Yeah, but only if he can get in within the last 60 days. And we're already into February.
If he lost his insurance within the last 60 days, then he has a special enrollment period to get a Medicare Advantage plan right now.
All right. Suppose you lost it before December 1st.
Suppose you lost it before December 1st, then we can't do, okay. We have to look for special enrollment periods. And some of the main special enrollment periods, is there a 5-star plan in our area? Do they have LIS or Medicaid? That's the biggest one. If they have LIS or Medicaid, then that opens up a window for them to get a Medicare Advantage plan once a quarter, right? Is there
can he get LIS or Medicaid?
Yeah, if he qualifies for it. If his income is low enough, based on the household income, not just him, based on the way they file taxes. If he's married, what's the income like for him and his wife? Is that below the threshold for LIS? If it is, then go apply for LIS right away. A couple weeks, they're going to get an approval, and then you can put them into a Medicare.
For Illinois, what's the LIS?
I don't know. I don't know it at the top of my head. That's a Google. What's the LIS income limit in Illinois? Or it's federal.
All right. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Some of these questions real quick. So somebody said, would appreciate some help. Enrolled someone onto a Medicare Advantage plan during AEP. So from a Medicare Advantage plan. So she went from a Medicare Advantage to another Medicare Advantage and AEP. And now this person wants a high deductible Medigap policy with a prescription drug plan. He's 73 years old and resides in Florida. He is not guaranteed issued. If supplement enrollment is not accepted, can I put him back on a Medicare Advantage plan? I don't believe there is another SCP to do so. It's a little late for this, but could use some direction on this. Okay. So again, during AEP, she had a Medicare Advantage plan, wrote this person up into another Medicare Advantage plan. It already went into effect January 1. And now this person wants to get a Medigap policy. Question is, can I put them back into a Medicare Advantage plan if the Medigap doesn't go through? What is the error here? The sequence of events. What is she doing wrong?
I have an answer. Shouldn't she wait to see whether or not he qualifies?
100%.
Okay.
He said that I'm going to disenroll him from the Medicare Advantage plan first. And then if the Medigap doesn't get approved, can I put him back into a Medicare Advantage plan? That sequence of events is wrong. You have to get the Medigap approved first and then disenroll them from a Medicare Advantage plan. Does that make sense? Because if she does this the other way, we can't put the dude back into a Medicare Advantage plan.
But Carlos, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't think you can go from a supplement to an advantage during OEP.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That's what she's asking. Can you do that? Can I go from a supplement to a Medicare Advantage during OEP?
No.
The answer is no, right? So we're telling her, don't disenroll her from the Medicare Advantage plan first, because you can't go from a supplement to a Medicare Advantage plan if the Medigap doesn't go through. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So do not make that mistake. The sequence of events has to be in order. Get the Medigap approved always first, and then disenroll them from the Medicare Advantage plan. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I say something for this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're 100% right. We have to submit Medigap application first until get approved. During you submit application, one thing you have to very carefully, they will ask you whether you have any existing plan available. So you have to fill out the Medicare Part C plan. You have filled out there. Otherwise, they find out that you have some plan available, the application will take forever. So I had a case before because I didn't put Medicare Advantage plan there. Then they said, give me the proof. Give me when you get approved for that plan, when will be end? Even we sent a Medicare Advantage card to them, they said, no, that's not enough. So you have to put a available Medicare Advantage plan name and there, then they know you have a Medicare Advantage plan. When you submit the application for the Medicare, you said, we are going to, continue that Medicare Advantage plan, then it's easier to get approved.
So Shino's having trouble because she didn't let them know that this person had a Medicare Advantage plan in place already. She thought it didn't matter. Like what does it matter? We're just trying to get approved for a Medicare supplement, underwritten, medical questions and all that jazz. They found out some way and they delayed the process, right? So I guess my question, how did they find out?
Um, I don't remember how they find out.
Okay, so the point is, you gotta give all the information in the Medicare supplement application. Answer the questions truthfully, because if not, it might cause delays, it might cause a decline, all that jazz.
Especially during the OEP, because you only have several times. If it's delayed, then you cannot get approved for Medigap. Then there's no way you can move anywhere.
True. That is true. All right. Moving on. Hello, agents. Looking for your guidance. I have a client recently switched Medicare supplement plans, Medigap plans. However, did not change his prescription drug plan in AEP. He is paying a ridiculous amount, over $100 a month, for his prescription drug plan and has no prescription medications. No, and not currently in any enrollment period. What other options do we have? Are there any private non-CMS Medicare drug plans that are considered credible coverage by Medicare standards? So this person did not switch his prescription drug plan during AEP, and he's stuck paying $100 a month for something that he's never, ever going to use. He's not taking any medications. Is there anything we can do for this person? Can anybody think of anything that might be possible for this person?
If they're 5-star,
right? So we go back to the same thing as always. Is there some sort of special enrollment period that we can find this person? Is there a 5-star drug plan, which is unlikely? I don't think I've ever seen one. Do they have LIS? Do they have LIS? Then we can switch them into a prescription drug plan, right? What else? Is there some sort of, are they affected by some sort of like FEMA disaster that the insurance company recognizes, right? I tried one and it didn't work on me. I'll tell you guys right now, I made a mistake in AEP. I met somebody on the 15th of October, on the 13th of October, and I was supposed to do their application on October 15th, and it slipped. I messed up. So I had to call Medicare and beg and plead to see if they could change it, and they wouldn't let me. They would let me only if they filed a report, like only if they said, okay, if you want to do this, Carlos, we're gonna have to file like a bad mark report on you. Do you really want to do this? And I said, dang, I don't really want to do it. I'd rather pay the guy's medications for the rest of the year than have a bad mark on my report, right? So what I did was we went on Medicare.gov and applied there. And one of the special enrollment periods at the very bottom was I asked for documents in like bigger print so I can read, and it never got to me. So we did that and the policy went through. So I'm just giving you guys a little hint. If you guys make a mistake like that, that's what I did. I went on Medicare.gov, chose the one at the very bottom that said I was supposed to be giving these documents in a different format, and I never received them, and that was a special enrollment period. So luckily we got his plan in place. It was a friend of mine, luckily, so he was very patient with me. So I'm telling you this just so that you don't go through the same stuff I went through. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Oh yes, so Nivian says another change of residence would be a special enrollment period to get this person into a prescription drug plan, right? But that rarely happens, right? Unless they can change their address to a daughter's place or something like that, right? Or a child's place, right? Yeah, find somebody if they can legally, if somebody has an address they can use. Hopefully it's like son or daughter, or they have a second residence. They have to call Social Security, update that address so that it creates a special enrollment period. Make sense? Okay. So anyways, there's nothing we can do for this person. They're stuck on that $100 plan unless we can find some sort of special enrollment period. Are there any private non-Medicare drug plans that are considered credible coverage by Medicare standards? The answer is no, unless you have insurance through your employer or something like that. But there's nothing outside of Part D prescription drug plans and insurance like Medicaid or insurance like group insurance, or if you want to get an ACA policy and pay $700 for it, there's nothing else outside of that that's going to be creditable coverage in the eyes of Medicare. Okay. Client called today needing to sign up for Medicare, turning 65 in February. She already started the login.gov and I finished helping her enroll online. Will it for sure be a 2/1 effective date for Part B? So this person yesterday or 2 days ago signed up for Medicare online. We all know that it takes Medicare 2 to 3 weeks or even 4 weeks to get everything processed and approved and to have the Medicare number in the universe somewhere. We know that, right? Her question is, how do I know is it going to start? Is the Medicare going to be effective 2/1 or is it going to be effective 3/1? Does anybody have the answer to that?
3/1.
3/1?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, you'll get a 2/1.
Why 2/1, Mike?
Because on the application will tell you, and it'll backdate. So it'll backdate the application to 2/1. However, like Carlos stated, you won't get the docs. You'll get the cards 2 to 3 weeks later, if you will.
So bottom line, it's time stamped. When you do the application, let's say the 31st, January 31st, and the application is sent off, it's time stamped for that you turned it in on the 31st. So that means that everything's going to be retroed back to a 2/1 effective date, right? Even if somebody doesn't get to it till 2 or 3 weeks later, the timestamp is there that you submitted the application 2/1. The 31st, and it's going to start February 1st. That make sense? Okay. During the beneficiary's initial coverage enrollment period, this is when somebody delayed their Part B and finally got their Part B in place, or delayed their Medicare and finally got their Medicare in place later on down the road. Are they able to switch their drug plan a few times as long as it's done within the 3 months after their 65th birth month? So imagine somebody is in their initial enrollment period, or any enrollment period for that matter. You sign them up for a prescription drug plan for February 1st. February 1st is here now, and the policy is active. Question is, can they resubmit another drug plan if we're still in their initial enrollment period, or their initial coverage enrollment period?
Yes.
Anybody else? Because the answer is no.
Depends on if the policy already active, you cannot switch. If not, yes.
That's correct. Once the policy goes effective, that enrollment code is gone from the universe. So if this is your initial enrollment period and you signed up somebody for a prescription drug plan to start February 1st, and it's now February 1st, that code is gone. It disappears from the universe. You used it up. That's it. You only get one chance to use it up, right? If you wrote up a prescription drug plan now and it's effective March 1st and it hasn't gone into effect yet, then you can write up 30 million prescription drug plans from now until March 31st. Does that make sense? But once that policy goes into effect, that poof, that SEP, that code is gone. That make sense? And during AEP, you can write 50 million AEP applications. But once December 7th comes around, no more AEP codes, right? That AEP code is gone. Make sense? Okay, 2 more, really quick. I know we're over time. A client who turned 65 in November enrolled into Medicare today, but was wanting a March 1st effective date for their Medicare. Will their Medicare be effective February 1st? Or will it be effective March 1st? So imagine it was yesterday, January 1. They fill out their Medicare application. Will it be effective February 1st, or can it be effective March 1st? Turn 65 in November. So December, January, February. February is the last month of their AEP. IEP, I'm sorry.
It's always going to be the day of the birthday, the month of the birthday. You can do that. Yes, you can.
What if this person turned 65 in November, but they didn't enroll into their Medicare until January? What's the effective date? What's the effective date on their Medicare?
Oh, February the 1st.
February 1st. Now, this person wants it to be effective March 1st. Can it be?
Yes, you can do it. When you do the application, you can pick. You have like 3 choices to pick. You can pick February 1st or March 1st.
1 second. We're talking about Medicare, original Medicare, the red, white, and blue card, not the Medicare Advantage plans.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So with Medicare Advantage, with original Medicare, when you're doing the application online, they don't give you the option to choose which effective date you want, right? Medicare is going to go effective the month after you apply, which in this case, if she applied yesterday, it's going to be effective February 1st. But this person wants an effective date March 1st. Is that possible? The question is, I think it is possible.
Hey, Carlos, can she just wait till the next day to enroll?
Yes, but she enrolled in January, right? So she already did it, you know? Yes, the answer is, if she would have just waited till today and did the application today, it would have been effective March 1st. However, she enrolled yesterday, right? So now it's going to be effective February 1st. However, I vaguely remember doing this before. You know, when you fill out the original Medicare applications, at the very end, they ask you for remarks. Have you guys noticed that on the application, it says, do you have any remarks? If you put in there, I want my Part A and I want my Part B to be effective March 1st, I think they'll do it for you.
Hi, Carlos. I have a question.
In that IEP period. Yeah.
Hi, Carlos. Isn't because the person their birth month was November, aren't they still under the old rules of where you have to wait when you sign up after your birth month?
Oh, shoot. You are absolutely correct. Yes, absolutely. So what Mike is saying is that now, if you enroll into Medicare, it's effective the 1st of your birth month. But that only applies to people who are eligible for Medicare from January 2023 and beyond. This person was eligible for Medicare in November. So the longer they waited to enroll into their Medicare, the longer they got pushed out. So if this person was eligible for Medicare in November and didn't sign up until January, then it's not going to be effective in February. It's going to be effective like February, March, April, probably April, right, Mike? Something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's 3 months because they did it in the last month of their eligibility.
Right. So maybe you guys didn't know that, but up until this year, if you enrolled a month after your 65th birthday, then you would get delayed. Your Medicare wouldn't start the month after, rather the month after that. And if you waited 2 months, it wouldn't start the month after that, nor the month after that, but like the 3rd month. Does that make sense? So this person is kind of SOL. They wanted to start March 1st. Medicare is going to be like, actually, we're going to start you April 1st.
And what about a penalty? Will they get 1 month or something?
No penalty for them because they enrolled during their IEP. However, the penalty is the fact that they're not going to have coverage until April 1st.
Got it. Makes sense.
Okay, last one really quick. I have a client that makes very minimal income, a total of about $2,500 a year, but drew out a 401k 2 years ago to buy a house. Has anyone ever fought Irma and won with that kind of circumstance? She can't afford the $500 a month Part B now. Okay. So this person, the government says that if you make a lot of money, or that if you made a lot of money, you have to contribute more to Part B, right? So this person 2 years ago took out some money from a 401k, and now Social Security is looking at it and say, hey, you made a lot of money 2 years ago. Your Part B premium is $500 a month instead of the standard $164.50, right? What can be done?
You can
Appeal it.
call them and appeal it.
Yeah, you can appeal it, right?
So back
There's
then,
the
years ago,
Irma
I
form.
made that money and I don't make that money now. So, and if you could prove to them, they can go ahead and change it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Correct. No, correct, right? So there's this Irma reduction form or this Irma appeal form. You just hand it over to them. They explain to them, they explain to Social Security what happened. Hey, I sold the house 2 years ago. I'm not making that kind of money now. Please have mercy. I can't afford this $500 Part B premium, right? And almost every time, I don't think I've ever had a situation where they don't take it down. Does that make sense? But they only take it down once. Like they're not going to let you appeal it again. So for example, like 2 years ago, okay, we understand we're going to cut you back down, right? But then next year, it happens again. Next year, you sold another house and they show your income was higher. You're going to say, hey, it happened to me again. I sold another house. They're going to say, hey, we only give you one time to appeal it. Now you're stuck with it until your income is really low enough. Does that make sense? You only get one chance. You only get one time to appeal your Irma. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? Tori, you said they won't have a penalty. What were we talking about at that point?
Getting the Part B, delayed Part B.
Yeah, they won't have a penalty because this person enrolled during their IEP. They turned 65 in November, and they have December, January, and February to enroll into their Medicare, and they happen to enroll in January. So even though their Part B is going to be delayed until April, there won't be a Part B penalty because it's time stamped,
Okay, so how do they just, when they go to sign up, they just choose not to elect Part B coverage?
No, they're getting Part B coverage. They're
But they're just delaying it. So I guess my question is, how do they delay it? So they sign up for Part A.
The member's not delaying it. It's being delayed by Social Security.
Oh.
The Social Security is delaying it.
Oh, I thought the member was trying to delay their Part B.
They were. They were. The initial question was, this person was trying to delay their Part B until March 1st. Can they do it? And the answer is, I think they can, because in the remarks, they could say, I want my Part B to start March 1st instead of February 1st. I think it's possible. However, this person is going to be delayed through no choice of their own. Like, they're automatically going to be delayed because they enrolled in their 6th month of IEP. They were eligible in November. They didn't enroll in January. They didn't enroll in December. They finally enrolled in January. And when you enroll in your 6th month, they delay your Part B effective date, your Medicare effective date, till 3 months out. So it's not going to be February. It's not going to be March. It's going to be April 1st. Does that make sense? Did you know that? Did you know that they delayed people's Medicare if you were procrastinating and didn't enroll into your Medicare until your 7th month or your 6th month?
I did not. Good to know. I did not know that.
But that is no longer the rule. That was the rule before 2023. So if somebody's eligible for Medicare starting January 1 of 2023, now in the 7th month of their IEP, it will start the month after that. Does that make sense?
Yes,
But
thank you.
for this particular person in November of 2022, those old rules still applied, and this person was going to be forcefully delayed until April 1st.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Carlos, I've seen instances where, say, somebody qualified for Part B in October, and they didn't apply for Part B until December, that they would actually start their Part B retroactively in October to charge them Part B fees from October thereon out.
It's
So
possible. That is possible. If you call and beg and plead to Social Security and say, "Hey, I made a mistake. I do want my Part B to start back then." Then they'll say, "Okay, you just have to pay for the months that you missed. Do you want to do that?" Right? And some people will say, "Yes, I'll pay for it." Some people will say, "No. Why do I want to pay that if I didn't use it?" You know? Does that make sense?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just surprised he received like a 6-month bill, right? Because they'll charge you retroactively, but they also want to collect 3 months in advance.
Absolutely.
Per quarter.
Absolutely. They say, "Okay, you don't want us to delay your Part B? Okay, just pay the months that you missed. We'll happily give you the coverage because we're not going to cover you anyways." You know? Okay. Does anybody have any more questions? We went overboard. Again, we had Kyle talk about some of these leads, and these were some good questions. A lot of these things are good to know. Again, the more we know, the better we are. You know, just we can become superheroes at this stuff, man. And it feels good to know what you're doing. Just makes life easier. If you know what you're doing, you're the authority in the space, and everybody wants to do business with you. So these questions are good. Anybody have anything else before we take off? Nivian, did you still have your hand raised, or did you just raise your hand? I think you might have just kept that up. Okay. Well, if nothing else, guys, have a great day. We're going to do this every week. Oh, actually, in 2 weeks, we're going to do new agent training. Okay. We're going to do some new agent training Wednesday and Thursday. So if you're local in the area, I encourage you to come into the office. In 2 weeks, we're going to do new agent training. It's going to be a full day event on Wednesday and Thursday to get some new agents up to speed. We're going to talk about insurance from A to Z. Okay, so if you have some people that are interested in going through this new agent training, invite them. I'm going to send the information out via email here shortly, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay.
Hey, Carlos.
Yeah, Nivian.
Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't find my. Anyhow, I was close of my here a microphone. But anyway, I have a question before you go. I don't know the answer when somebody turns 65 and they decide to keep working for like another year, 2, 3, 4 years. So they come back and they say, "Well, I need a Part B form, so then I will reapply for Part B," and that takes a year. Did you know? Yeah, I have people, they applied last May, April, and now they've been approved for January or February this year. Did you know why? There is any reason? They asking me, and I don't know why.
No, that's not right. If somebody delayed their Medicare because they have insurance through their employer.
Correct.
Before they lose the insurance to the employer, they're going to fill out. If they just delayed Part B, if they got Part A and they delayed Part B, they're going to fill out the 2 forms. They're going to turn it into Social Security before they lose Part B, and then everything should go smooth. Why this person delayed a whole year? There's something else wrong. They didn't get the forms filled out.
Well, I think that what happens to this particular case, he was out of work and he didn't know that he had to do an application.
So that's the problem. The problem was that when he lost insurance, when he stopped actively working, he didn't turn in the paperwork. And now he's outside of an enrollment period to get his A and B in place. And now he can only apply during the general enrollment period, which is January, February, and March. So this is what happened. He could not get in because he didn't enroll in time. He didn't fill out the paperwork. He had 8 months to get his Medicare in place after he stopped actively working. And those 8 months went by and he never did it. So now Social Security says you can't just get Medicare whenever you feel like it. You have to wait till the general enrollment period, which is January through March. You have to apply, and then we'll get you we'll get your Medicare in place.
Okay, because I had like 3 cases like that. And last year I gave them a PDP plan. So that way they were covered on Part D.
Sure.
And just one's been approved, but I have 2 cases. So thank you for letting me know exactly, because it's until March 31st. So we are still into that window time for them to go back and check why they haven't get approved for Part B. All right, well, thank you. That's one of my questions.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for sticking around, guys. If you guys need me, you guys know where to find me. If you know some people that want to join the team, again, join EIT.com. And we'll have new agent training in 2 weeks. So if you want to stop by and hang out with us, come hang out, okay? Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.